All right, coach, coming off a tough home and home series with UMass, one away, one at the Toscano Family Ice Forum, both coming away with wins. Heading into this weekend with CT Ice, another tough matchup, starting off with Yale and then the possibility of playing either Sacred Heart or Quinnipiac. Just want to get your thoughts heading into this weekend and the tournament.
Yeah, well, it was certainly nice to get that first win at Toscano last week. We're excited about that. But we're moving on right now to the tournament. It's as I explained, I think last week, it's one of the four majors we consider. Playing for this trophy, the Hockey East regular season, the Lamorello Cup, and the national championship. So we got four majors I think we play for, and this is the first one on tap, and we're excited about it.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions. Always, we'll just use the raise your hand emoji or type in chat, and I'll get to you. Who wants to start us off? Go ahead, Daniel.
What has Jake Percival been doing so well over the last 4 games to just continue this streak of hitting a post every time?
Yeah, I'd like to see him end that streak and put it in. Although he did get one, I should say, at UMass, but it's not just his past 4 games. I think it's been consistent all season long. He's been that word consistent, I think, describes him really well. From the beginning of the season till now, what kind of effort you're going to get. He skates really well, Dan. He's got an excellent stick. He gets his stick in a lot of passing lanes and breaks up plays, and he puts a lot of pressure on the opponent, and he's becoming one of our better penalty killers as well.
Joe, we'll head over to you.
Thanks, Colin. Cav, what does it say about the maturity of your group that you can get shocked 12 seconds in and not leave your game plan and, in fact, increase the intensity and pretty much dominate the next 59-48?
Yeah, it's I just think we do have a lot of senior leadership. There's some guys that have been around the program for a long time, playing in some crucial positions where, Ryan Torberg's line is Chase is only a sophomore, but he's played a lot of minutes here, and Nick has been around for a while. Hudson Shandor, Justin Pearson, Taya Monty, Andrew Lucas. On the back end, we have Roman and Flinney and Reeser. So those guys just provide a lot of veteran leadership, and there's a calming presence. And it's been, pretty much all season long, Joe. Whether it was Providence having to score too late, twice to tie that game up. At Providence, we had to score late. At UMass the other night, we had to get a late power play goal to tie the game up before we could win it in overtime. I think it's just a team that doesn't get too high in the highs or too low in the lows. We try to consistently just play our game.
Bob, we'll head over to you.
Morning, Mike.
Good morning, Bob.
Mike, tell me about Yale. And what's that?
How's Tennessee?
Cloudy morning. I think Dan can attest because he's here too.
Okay.
Tell me about Yale and their goaltender, Luke Pearson. What does he do well to keep his team in the game?
Well, he's played really well here. Yale's played excellent since coming back from the break, and I don't think it's any coincidence that Pearson's been playing most of the games. His goals against is under 2. He's got a .940 save percentage. They tied Vermont and Merrimack on the road. And we're very familiar with those two opponents. Keith always has a team that competes extremely hard, skates well, and now they're getting solid goaltending and controlling rebounds and not giving you those second and third opportunities.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Do you have, I don't know if appreciation's the right word, but like a better appreciation for Yale's program just after having Kevin O'Neill in last year and then Justin this year, and just the way that they've been such big contributors for you guys the last 2 years?
I've always had a strong appreciation for Yale's program back from when I remember playing against them in the national tournament when I was at BC, and they had great teams. And then they subsequently went on to win the national championship. My last year at BC, I think, was a year we had beat them the year before in the tournament, or maybe a couple of years before, and then they went on to win it. So I've always had a great appreciation for their program and the job that Keith has done there. And when you get a Yale player, they're one, going to compete, and two, they're pretty disciplined players. So, and I don't mean just not taking penalties. They're just disciplined in structure, and they're very, very well coached. So yes, having coached them, like I said, I've always had an appreciation from afar, but now having coached a couple of their players, yes, I would say I have even a greater appreciation for what they do there.
Go ahead, Joe.
Cav, Roman and Harrison kind of fly under the radar. We talk a lot about some of the other guys and certainly a couple of the other defensemen, but can you just speak about what they bring on a day-to-day basis to your club?
They bring, veteran leadership. They bring confidence to go out there and play against anybody. Like and they ask sometimes for those assignments. And as you said, Joe, they quietly go about and just do their job. They're never going to be really flashy, but someone once told me a long time ago that the greatest, I think, compliment you can give a defenseman is I didn't even notice them during the game. When that's happening, they're not getting beat. They're making simple plays, and they get in the puck to our forwards who can attack with speed.
Go ahead, Bob.
Mike, you've had Ryan with Chase and Nick now the last 2 weekends, and it just seems like they have a very good chemistry. And Ryan seems like a perfect fit because he's another gritty kind of guy that, as good as he is offensively, I don't think you really appreciate the grit that he has from watching from the outside.
Yeah, I always have. And it was one of my concerns about putting them all together because at times they can be our three most physical players. So I didn't know if we were, overloading one line with physicality. I was a little concerned about that, but they seem to have great synergy together, and they've, I know they've probably accounted for a goal in every game they've played together, I think. So, it's something that's, we're not changing it this week, Bob. They're staying together again this week.
Are you keeping the freshmen together too? The Tattle group with Heaslip and Fraser?
I would think so. We actually haven't made final decisions on that group yet, but that group of Heaslip and Tattle and Vayu and Fraser, it could be Cartman, all of them, have given us pretty good energy the last couple of weeks.